eventually get a stop in the closing moments as Horn can't make a grab for the Carolina Panthers, and they fall 34-31 mark in a game that was significantly closer than most people expected.
Yeah, no doubt. I would not have expected the Panthers to put up 31. First of all, their offense has been dormant for most of the season. So for them to put up 31, that was a surprise. But for the Rams, it was the turnover. They were uncharacteristic the way they played with the penalties, the turnovers. You know, had the block punt there as well. So for them to still get this victory despite all of the issues, and really during the regular season when the Panthers beat them, Patrick, was similar to this, where they got them out of their element, where Stafford was turning the ball over and they're making a lot of mistakes. So something about the Panthers and the Rams, where the Panthers can kind of get them out of their game, but it bodes well for the Rams. Like, look, we had our C game, you know, not even our A, B game. They had our C game and still put up 34 in one playoff game.
Let's look at the overall circumstances for the NFC after the Rams have advanced here. We've got the game coming up tonight between the Packers and the Bears. Looking forward to Sunday's matchup between the 49ers and the Eagles, a 2022 NFC Championship game rematch. While the Seahawks wait and watch, the first game that they had a chance to watch was this Matthew Stafford come from behind victory, Mark, where there was a hit in the second quarter on DJ Wanham where Stafford hits the follow-through, where it seems like Matthew Stafford has this happen more than anybody, hits his finger on DJ Wanham on the follow-through, and the before-after stats significant, but he comes up with the ultimate drive after that in the fourth quarter to get the Rams a win.
Right, he was on fire, right, early in the game, and then he had this play, and then he was not good at all. And then he caught fire again, Patrick. So I guess that thing warmed up or got back in place or something, did a little healing on that finger. But that's what you expect from Matthew Stafford, you know, Super Bowl champion and future Hall of Famer, I'm sure, after what he's done this year. And you saw that drop by Puka, another one of those mistakes that were uncharacteristic. I mean, when Puka's dropping balls, you know something is out of character. But you know, that's why you keep playing. And Stafford, when it was winning time, and that's what separates quarterbacks, Patrick, is, all right, doesn't matter what happens first, second, third quarter. When it's winning time and the plays are there to be made, the game's got to be won, he stepped up and got it done again. And that's what you would expect from him in this sort of environment.
Let's take a look at just a full view of how Matthew Stafford looked in this game in the first three quarters. Excuse me, the first quarter, no pressures, ultimately, on Matthew Stafford. They're able to get 6 pressures in the second quarter, all the way through the Carolina Panthers, causing some issues, not just related to the pass rush, but coverage as well. Look at those numbers in the fourth quarter. The yards per attempt, 9.5. He had 2 touchdowns, passer rating of 146.0. It seemed like the version of Matthew Stafford that the Panthers were flirting with getting rid of in the first quarter came back with a fury, Mark, in the final frame.
Yeah, and that's what you want, right? As I just mentioned, it doesn't matter with the first 3 quarters what's going on. When it's winning time, you know, that's what you need from your superstar, and that's what you have to step up. And, you know, so going forward, you know, the Rams can look at, okay, even when Stafford isn't at his best, we know that's coming. We know that he's going to bring that. So, you know, just tremendous win for the Rams, despite the mistakes, despite the turnovers, despite the penalties, that they still got it done.
And you look over at the team that they were playing against in terms of having J.C. Horn back for this game. Mike Jackson played a spectacular game, including an interception on his birthday. Was there something that Ajir Evero did against this Rams team that other teams can duplicate, or did they have some unique abilities to bother this Rams team they beat earlier in the season and almost beat again to end their season?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, they just grind it out. I don't know, but, you know, they still scored 34. It's like the Rams played bad, they put up 34 points. So if they played good, they might have put up 60. But, you know, he did early on in the game, they were just rushing with 4. They weren't getting any pressure at all. So we saw the change where he's like, okay, we got to blitz and trust our corners there to make plays, which they did for a stretch, for an extent, until then the Rams, okay, now we adjust as well. That's what happens in games and game planning where, okay, now in-game adjustments and what do we do to what they're doing to us. And it seemed as if in the middle portion there, they found it out, and then the Rams said, no, we got another level to take it to.
Yeah, and the game winner goes to Colby Parkinson, one-on-one with our Sarah Walsh, after he got this win, and the Rams advanced to the divisional round.
Colby, the entire season was on the line in that last drive before Stafford threw that touchdown to you to seal this one. Talk me through that play.
I mean, it's a great play design. First of all, I'm just so thankful for the Lord for giving me this opportunity. I mean, what an experience, right? This is a great place to play. The crowd was going crazy. Ton of fun and ton of trust from Stafford and the guys to call that play, and obviously it's a whole team effort. That drive was amazing.
You talked to me this week about what Stafford means to this team. Talk about the composure and the fortitude he had to bring this team back at the end.
I mean, no one flinched, especially that guy. We have complete trust in him. Super thankful to be led by a guy like that.
You said that this team has overcome a lot. You live to play another week. What does that mean to you guys?
That's what we're here for. You know, 1 week at a time. We'll see who we get next week, and excited to go for it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. God bless, guys.
So the Rams, as they announce on social media, on to the divisional round, 34-31 win over the Carolina Panthers, avenging the loss that came at Bank of America Stadium earlier on this season. So we saw maybe perhaps some weaknesses for the Los Angeles Rams. How do you feel about their hopes going into the rest of the postseason? Because a few weeks ago, you could easily make the case, Mark, this was one of the best teams in the NFL. Still feel confident in them, or are you feeling some doubt regarding Los Angeles?
Well, there's doubt in all these teams in the playoffs. They're all flawed on the NFC side, Patrick, but once you get here, it's like, okay, even when we're not at our best and our weaknesses are there, do our strengths outweigh that? And when the Rams have a Matthew Stafford and that young defensive front, you know, they can always create problems. And when they're looking at the landscape of the rest of the teams, they're not looking at anybody that they can't beat. You know, I think the best team right now is Seattle with the balance. They've beat Seattle. You know, of course, those two dramatic games. You know, the Eagles, they had a field goal win at the dramatic block kick. Talking about the special teams blunders for the Eagles at the end of the game there. Jordan Davis running for the touchdown. So when the Rams are looking at it, like, they know they can beat anybody. So I don't think, however the matchup plays out, that they'll be thinking, okay, we don't have a chance. They feel like they can go all the way.
All right, looks a lot of games left to be determined to see how things go for the Rams. But let's get a final thought, Mark, on the Carolina Panthers. We've seen other 8 and 9 teams make coaching changes, wholesale changes going over in Atlanta. Was there enough to feel solid about the Panthers' future?
Oh, for sure. You know, and Bryce Young, they took a huge step this year. I know they had the losing record, still won the division. But the way they played tonight, you know, that's something to build on for a young team, Patrick.
And we look forward to another great wild card game, game 214 between the Bears and the Packers franchise. Stacey Dales told us about a skirmish at midfield. Well, this is how it got started. A couple of guys linking up, and then everybody ultimately gets involved. Got some kickers and long snappers in there. Top to bottom franchises at a crossroads, Mark. Your thoughts, final thoughts going in before this game gets going.
Yeah, this will be another fun one. Your opening game. I mean, what more could you ask for? I think this will be another one down to the wire. And again, can the Bears create the turnovers? I think that's really the key. If they can, I think if Jordan Love is remotely close to the Jordan Love we know, Josh Jacobs, I think Green Bay has a legitimate chance to go win this thing.
Had a great start to Wild Card Weekend. Can't wait for this matchup after it's over. All the highlights and information with Game Day Final coming up with Chris Rose.
Absolutely. I think all eyes are going to be on Josh Jacobs, right? The Packers resting their starters in Week 18. When I was here in Week 16, Patrick, Josh just didn't look like himself. Well, I watched him warm up, and I've watched him warm up here throughout. And offensive coordinator Adam Stenavich said he has looked really good in practice. He's fresh, and it'll be good to have him full strength going into this game. That is great news. His quarterback, Jordan Love, tells us this week he will have no rest coming off of that concussion. Now, remember, he could have played last week in the Week 18 game, but again, getting that extra rest, seeing a little bit more of that Bears tape, and he has looked pretty good out here in his warm-up. As for the Chicago Bears, Rome Odunze makes his return. He was full go in practice on Thursday as he comes back from that stress fracture. I think he was able to play, or would have been able to play last week against the Lions, but the Bears holding him out. Kyler Gordon returns to their secondary. And, of course, all eyes are going to be on Caleb Williams making his playoff debut. While Jordan Love has had 3 games now of experience in the playoffs, Caleb Williams told us this week his confidence is at an all-time high as he comes into this game. And the Bears will be riding that confidence tonight in what is going to be a very hostile environment. There's a lot of Packers fans here, a lot of Bears fans here, and some always NFC North-like conditions in Chicago.
It's what makes our game great, having these fans in this type of rivalry atmosphere. Can't wait to see it. These two teams played really close games both times this season. Home team winning both of them, and the second win, that win for the Bears, was one from, they come from behind. In fact, they've come from behind with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter more than any team since 1983. And in fact, all of those teams had some substantial losses in the playoffs. You go back to look at that Vikings team, most recent example, losing to the Giants 31-24. That was a great Daniel Jones game. Speaking of the Giants, get a chance to say hello for the first time this evening to our very own Mark Ross, joining us here on Game Day Highlights. Is that sustainable for the Bears? How can they avoid having to come from behind late once again here against the Packers?
Yeah, Patrick, well, clearly the Bears have their formula, and that's to create the turnovers. You know, they lead the league in takeaways by a large margin, and everything gets fueled off of that. You know, if they don't create the turnovers on defense, they really aren't that good on defense, and we've seen their offense struggle a lot until it's magic time for Caleb Williams in the fourth quarter. This Bears team, Patrick, reminds me of the 2001 Bears team that won 13-3 under Dick Duran in similar fashion, where they were creating a bunch of turnovers at the end and winning games in the fourth quarter. That wasn't